have a deep meaning about the band name called Pearl Jam?
Well, the name itself actually came from, I mean, us sitting around just trying to theorize on a name and having a bunch of words, and Pearl was a word that kind of came up, and Eddie started to tell the story about a grandmother that he had whose name was Pearl, and talked about how she used to make like these preserves for her grandfather that were hallucinogenic, and just joking around, somebody said, you know, Pearl's Jam, and it just ended up being Pearl Jam. So.
Ah, I see. So why, you know, so many people, you know, said, okay, the next rock spot in Seattle. So, you know,
It's a press angle.
yeah, so many, you know, the magazines, you know, the radio DJs, and next is Seattle. It's not LA, not in San Francisco, not New York.
It's just something new to write about. I mean, I think everything that's going to be written about LA and New York has been written, and so, you know, like when Athens was happening with REM and the B-52s and Pylon and all those bands, and when Minneapolis was happening with the Replacements and Soul Asylum, and you know, Prince was happening at that point.
The Time and all those bands.
It's just another, you know, it just so happens that there's some really great bands happening in the same city, and it's an excuse to
write a lot of articles about it and talk about it. And
So what did you most pay attention when you were making an album in the studio?
just I think getting a really good take of, you know, whatever song we were playing, you know, trying to get ourselves in a place where you know, we could concentrate, you know, on the song and the groove, and just kind of letting yourself lose yourself in the song, and not thinking too much about, like, you know, if technically you're playing it perfect or whatever. Just kind of letting yourself get into the vibe of the song and letting it go.
So it's very important about the vibe, the feeling.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing.
So what do you analyze, you know, the now biggest success in the Pearl Jam?
what do we do?
What do you analyze, you know? Yeah, what do you think about, what do you analyze about the success?
Probably trying not to think too much about, you know, success and whatever that is, you know, or whatever people's perception of success is. I think the more that we just kind of like stick to this little unit of 5 people and like work on, you know, what's most important, and that's the music, I don't think we'll have any problems. I think as soon as like we get too much time to where we can go off and like wonder how come we don't have Porsches, or how come we don't have a ranch, or whatever, then that's when there's going to be, you know, weirdnesses or whatever. And I think we just need to stay on top of it as people and communicate and make another record, you know. And
Our schedule's so, I mean, our schedule's like right to September, we're on the road, and then we have a month off, and then we make a record. So we're not going to have time to, like, you know, think about all the success. I mean, more than anything, I think we really, really want to make another record, and we really want to make a record that we're, like, totally proud of, and, like, that we're, like, you know, completely happy with, you know. So I think that's everybody's big motivation at this point. I know it's mine.
And I think within ourselves, I think we have a lot of motivation just from like making a way better record than our first record, because right now we see, like, you know, everything that was wrong with the first record and just how much we've improved in other areas. And I think we have a lot to prove to ourselves in terms of like the next record. So we'll see.
Also trying to understand what it was, the intangible things about the first record, what was really good about them, stuff that we didn't even think about or realize that people really responded to, and try to retain those elements, but at the same time really push ourselves to do something new and do something different, and try to, like, you know, keep from our own perspective growing musically and growing, like, you know, emotionally too. So
but 5 or 6 years ago, when you were Green River Days, you know, you played very small clubs, and then after that, you know, totally changed. Right, you're playing in all over the States, and sometimes in Europe and England, and a big success in the albums. Have you got any changes in your mind or view or something like that?
Totally. I mean, none of us have ever really been to Europe or any of those places before, so. And even most of the places that we've toured within the last, you know, 9 months, I mean, we haven't been to a lot of these places, so, you know, our minds are growing as fast as they'll let us, you know. I think, you know, I think the only thing that it does for me is it makes me more excited to see even more places and to play more places and to, like,
meet more
Not
people
necess-
from different countries, and just like
and not even necessarily play bigger shows, but to play more intense shows and to just get this show that we do or this music that we play, to get it so it it can be penetrated into every person at the show, whether it's visually or audio wise or whatever, just to make a better show happen. And so
play together better too. I mean, the fact that we played so many shows, the band is really starting to play like more as one, and really starting to hear each other. And there's a kind of a weird mind things that happen when you're playing as a band, and all of a sudden everybody starts listening to everybody else, and it really starts to like, and the more nights you can have where that feeling comes around that it's really one thing and not 5 guys beating it around, but like everybody's playing at the same, on the same groove. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful feeling.
and that's when the song takes precedent over everything else. I mean, that's the nights when the song dynamically comes down to a point to where it's like, I mean, it's a hard feeling to explain, but it's a rare enough feeling at this point that something we want to maybe have a little bit more taste of. So.